A couple years ago, Rand Paul ran for president, and the media asked,
has the libertarian moment finally arrived?
President Paul! President Paul!
But Paul's presidential campaign went nowhere.
Well, Rand Paul shouldn't even be on this stage. He's number 11. He's got 1% in the polls.
I had high hopes this was going to be the libertarian moment. The crowd was cheering.
We've come to take our country back.
What happened?
I would say that either the people aren't ready or perhaps the people in the Republican primary aren't ready.
Since Trump was elected, federal spending has risen about $500 billion.
It doesn't mean some of us aren't fighting, it just means we're losing the battle. But I think there are a lot of battles you lose in Washington that you may be winning the hearts and minds of people who aren't in Washington.
Are we winning hearts and minds? That's what I try to do with these videos, but I wouldn't say that we're winning. With socialism newly popular, Senator Paul felt compelled to write this book making the case against it. More on that in another video. But Paul says progress has been made, and evidence of it is President Trump implementing Senator Paul's free market ideas on health care.
Let competition drive prices down. The president said it's a great idea.
Paul then tweeted that he's proud to stand with President Trump, that together we cut taxes, repealed regulations, and put better judges on the court.
The plan is to get out of endless wars.
Paul also praised the president for saying he'd bring our soldiers home.
A very bold move for President Trump. It's exactly what he promised the American people.
Paul tweeted, the first president to understand what our national interest is. But he hasn't pulled out of anywhere.
Compare it, though, to George W. Bush, who got us involved everywhere, or compared to President Obama, who sent 100,000 troops to Afghanistan. The rhetoric of President Trump has actually been, I think, a relief.
Bring our soldiers back home, to not be policing agents all over the world.
Has it happened yet? No, but I continue to push. We should get out of Afghanistan. But when the president has said anything about it, when I have supported him, immediately the Republican leaders and the Democrat leaders get together and they hurry and they immediately pass a resolution saying it would be precipitous to leave Afghanistan.
The danger of a precipitous withdrawal.
Really? After 19 years, precipitous?
America went into Afghanistan to take out the killers behind the September 11th attack. We did that, but we're still there 18 years later.
You look at intervention after intervention after intervention, we haven't had the intended consequence. We've gotten more chaos.
Chaos erupted at an American outpost in Afghanistan.
In Iraq, we took out Saddam.
Saddam Hussein captured alive.
But the people who replaced him were often worse. We got rid of Gaddafi, the dictator. But what replaced him isn't better. In Syria, we armed rebels to fight Assad. But often our weapons ended up in the hands of al-Qaeda.
Everything we think we're going to get more of, stability or less terrorism, we end up getting more chaos and more terrorism.
So President Trump is right, says Paul, when he says,
We want to bring our soldiers back home.
Recently, Trump moved some troops from northern Syria.
He moved 50 out of the way, and all of the War Hawk caucus have gone crazy.
Leaving the Kurds for slaughter.
This reckless action.
This is the most screwed up decision I've seen since I've been in Congress.
He had that audacity to move 50 soldiers, and it's like, these people are insane.
A betrayal of the strongest allies.
4 years ago, you said the United States should arm the Kurds, promise them their own country. And now, those 50 soldiers were presumably keeping the Turks from killing the Kurds. You've abandoned them.
When I refer to the Kurds having a homeland, they kind of do. They have a section of Iraq. I know they would hope it to be a country, but I never really have advocated that we would mandate or protect some sort of new country within Syria for the Kurds. The bottom line is the people who live there know better about this. It's a very complicated war over there with 4 or 5 different countries involved in it. We can't know enough about these problems, and unless you want to put 100,000 troops in there and fight Assad, Russia, Turkey, we ought to rethink whether we should get involved in these wars to begin with. I promise you, 50 soldiers or 2,000 American soldiers are nothing more than a target for bad people to kill or to maim, which will get us drug into a bigger war.
I don't know whether Senator Paul is right about Syria, but 18 years of war in the Middle East, America's longest war ever, hasn't done what our leaders said it would. We need our troops, but we should use them sparingly, only when we're sure it benefits our defense. And if we go to war, the Constitution says Congress must vote to declare war, I'm glad Senator Paul argues those points.